Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, I sure appreciate you stopping in. We are in the lodge this evening and I've got a phone call here with a client shortly. And I wanted to get this video, potential client here shortly, going into our booking season here. And I wanted to get this video out tonight for some good reasons. Guys, this is a video that we do every year. I do every year. And it's probably one of the videos that gets the most kickback as far as naysayers and don't know what I'm talking about, yada, 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 right? But guys, I'm going to share something with you. We're going to talk tonight about the October lull. Is it a myth? Is it not, right? And we're going to get right to the truth. Guys, I'm going to share something with you here that I tell all my clients. I teach and preach with all my clients. Is, guys, I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, right? If those two align, that's great. But if they don't, I'm well aware that I may ruffle some feathers. I tell my clients that when I'm doing the whitetail analysis packages that we offer. I tell them that through if we do builds with you, habitat days, whatever that is, right? Events that I speak at, the channel here, whatever that is, groups of folks. I tell everybody that usually first and foremost because I believe it. I'm okay with getting the naysayers ruffled up, if you will. But guys, this is one of the topics that I think it's probably a topic that handcuffs, if you will, or really keeps a property, no matter what size, whether it's a small parcel or it's a big property all over the country, wherever you're at in the country. I think, guys, that the word lull, or this term October lull, or lull in general, that we're going to touch on, I think destroys more properties and more mindsets than probably any term in the country. So let's just start here. The October lull, guys, what happens during that talked about time period, right? When things just seem to shut down, that part of the lull is true, but what's not true is why the lull happens. That's where most folks go wrong, guys. So it's let's just say it's a cause and effect, right? The cause and the effect, I believe, are what get mixed up. So we're not going to sugarcoat this, because I don't sugarcoat this with my paid clients, and I don't sugarcoat this with groups that I speak to or anything. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it with the YouTube channel. So what causes the October lull, right? Guys, I'm going to share something with you. The lull, why I say it's not just the October lull, is the lull is always about 10 days to 2 weeks after the season in your area starts. August, South Carolina mysteriously has a lull 2 weeks after the mid-August opener. Folks out there. Wisconsin, middle of September, has a lull all of a sudden 2 weeks after their season opens. Kentucky has a lull 2 weeks after the season opens, after about mid-September, after we open the first weekend of September. You can see where I'm going with this, guys. I'm telling you, I have no reason to lie about this. I can set my watch, I can set the calendar to 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks after a season opens. And it doesn't take you very long on social media or messages through my connections, if you will, or contact through me. What's going on? The farm, this is happening. I'm getting new calls at this time of the year. I spend multiple hours every evening on the phone with potential clients, potential and clients I've worked with in the past, but potential clients call in. Guys, I can tell you that 9 out of 10 clients that I talk to over a week, right, all relate the message to me that the more they hunt, the less productive their farms are. Something's going on. yada, 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 right? It's a reoccurrence. So what causes that, right? So don't just get caught into a October lull. Open your mind up here and understand that it's a lull all over the country, right? And it is directly connected to a few things. One, pressure. First and foremost, pressure. What you need to do, guys, is I ask that you start with yourself first, and then I ask that when you hear this term through hunting companions or partners or deer camps or talks on social media, whatever, be respectful first and foremost, but always ask these three questions, right? One, are you sitting on top of it? If you're experiencing the lull, right? Are you sitting on top of a food plot? Two, and a feeder, right? Are you sitting on top of a feeder? Are you hunting AMs early season? How many hunts have you got? How many AM hunts have you had, right? And the third one, fourth one maybe, depending on how you break that down, have you shot any does? And if the person, including yourself, or the person that you're asking that answers yes to any of those questions, guys, if they are being honest with themselves, or you are at the point where you want help, right? Something is going on. Something is changing, right? Something has changed. The hunt has went south. If you're being honest with yourself, you will answer that question honestly, right? That is the first step. I'm not trying to have an AA meeting here, but I mean, that's the first step. Understanding where the fault is. That fault lies in your own camp, usually, right? And I'm going to share this with you guys. If you don't know my past is guiding, right? Whitetails, elk, mule deer, the list goes on. There's a reason that there is a lull in the West after elk season starts. There's a reason that there's a lull after mule deer season starts in the high country. Guys, it's about pressure. Number one, right? So you have to open your mind to that, and you have to be willing to hear that. And a lot of times you have to be willing to accept that you're part of the problem. So the second part of that, like we talked about, right, is everyone thinks that the magical oak, right? The magical acorn. I should make a shirt that says this, right? The magical acorn stole all my deer, right? So two things happen there. One, the magical acorn did not steal, or where you're at, and if you're deeper south, maybe it's acorn, right? The magical acorn didn't steal your deer. The deer went to the magical acorn because it's pressured, because it's now fallen. It's food within the timber, and they don't have to come out to these food plots that are being hunted on, and or feeders or corn piles on top of hunting on top of. They don't have to come out and risk their lives AM and PM, so they just don't come out, right? So it makes the kind of the nocturnal word, right? The movement after dark. It creates that pressure. So the oaks didn't steal it, but the oaks definitely had something to do with it, because that's where they have that comfort zone, right? They are a creature, responsive creature, right? They are a very responsive creature. If they get pushed, such as like when people get pushed into the corner, they sometimes do drastic things, right? You can have a deer on your farm, and you can have him very, very, very consistent through the summer, and all of a sudden, where'd they go, right? These deer just magically left my farm, and it must be the home range of a whitetail buck in the shift, right? Totally separate video, but the shift is another thing. Took my deer away, right? Well, unless your farm is about 75% or 80% ag, the shift or the magical acorn didn't just steal your deer. The reason that the shift or the lull happened, guys, is because, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic about this, I'm just trying to really drive this home. What I'm saying is that it didn't just happen. 4th of July, after that, folks start going in the woods, Start applying pressure, the deer react, right? Cause and effect. They react to our pressure. So, like I'm saying, is it's easy to place blame. It's not easy to accept the blame a lot of times, right? So, just keep in mind, guys, that the reason, I'm going to touch on a couple things here before we end this one. The reason that happened, a lot of times, is pressure. Does it have some food pulled to it? Other food sources hit the ground? With acorns, yes, it does. But the reason they're there is because they got pressured there. So I hear this all the time. Well, the acorn is just so much more, it's so powerful, right? It just drew the deer away. Guys, I encourage you, if you're in a state that has feeding, so Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan doesn't have feeding, right? It's illegal, so there's no one that feeds up there. Yeah, right. But anyway, so there's corn out all over the woods, right? Oh, the acorn is so much more palatable. It's so much more healthy. Guys, do your research. Shelled corn, I hope you're not feeding crack corn. Shelled corn, right, is way, way more nutritious, and the value is way higher than an acorn. Look it up if you don't believe me. So that debunks that theory. The magical acorn isn't just so sweet and so powerful. This magical white acorn that's out there that steals all your deer is not as palatable or nutritious to a white-tailed deer as dry shell corn. Make the connection, right? The other side of it is you have to look at, if you can answer, if you are honest, right, and someone asks you that, or you ask yourself that question, and you can honestly tell me, or tell yourself, or tell the person that's asking you this, that you didn't do any of those, right? You're not hunting on the food plots. You're not shooting your does early. You're not pressuring, right? You didn't take the corn outfitters. You didn't take the corn pile away from the food plot. You didn't take your cameras and you didn't run into the oaks, in the white oaks, because that's where the deer are now, and now they're gone from there. Where'd they go, right? There must be another magical persimmon or something that took them away, right? But if you can honestly answer that you didn't do any of that, sadly, guys, you're feeling the effects of a small property and or a broken community, a small property-driven community. What I mean by that is, I don't know what that total acreage is, guys. I've got clients in high-pressured states, in huntable states, whether you want to label it high pressure or not. Iowa, I'm thinking a couple that jump out, Iowa, Illinois, Alabama. 2,500 acre parcel in Alabama, guys, and they still feel the effect of the lull. And why is that? Because everybody else around you is being a part of the problem, right? I don't know what that amount of acreage is. Maybe it's a square mile the certain square mile, maybe in Michigan. I don't think that is, but maybe it's 1,500 acres in the south. Maybe it's a 400 acre piece in ridge country here in central Kentucky. I don't know what that magic number is, guys, to not feel that. I can tell you that I do not do those things on my farm, and I can still tell that it's the lull, right? Because I can walk out on my porch right now. I could walk out on the porch just before dark. It usually happens worse on the weekends. I can walk out here and I can listen to does blowing here and there and to the south and to the north. Deer blowing all over the place, and it's a PM. I can tell you without even going onto their farm, without even knowing where they're hunting. They're hunting above. The thermals have sunk down to some bottom, and the does are blowing their brains out and they're getting busted. Time and time and time again, guys. But I can honestly tell you that my farm, I do feel that, right? Because just the way the deer act when they're coming into food plots, they're going to my feeders, the cameras are showing, just the way they act, and it does set the movement back even on mine, right? Because I'm only 72 acres, right? So I can tell you guys that there's a lot of it's hard, right? Let's just be honest. It's a male-dominated sport. We don't take criticism very well, right? You have to take criticism. You have to work on that. And if you don't want to experience the lull, guys, you have to be in a community that's all on the same playing field with that. And you have to put a lot of acreage together, guys. I know of one area in central Michigan that I think was like 24 or 2,700 acres at one time, under some good management as far as maturity, as far as food plotting, as far as watching what they're how they're hunting, I should say. Still experiencing the October lull, right? So some videos coming up here, guys. I'm gonna help you understand how you beat that so you don't feel the lull, even if you're in a community that is experiencing the lull, right? The more of the lull that your community feels, the more dense that your property has to be. So, folks in the South, this one's going out to you guys because there's some videos coming out here shortly. If you're listening to this and you're from the South, Alabama, Georgia, parts of Kentucky, South Carolina, those 3 states other than Kentucky that I just listed are big in control burns and no hinge cutting, burn, forages. Right. We're going to talk about that, guys. There's no horizontal structure, all vertical. And I've told everybody this for years. There's certain states in the country, guys, that this ties into other videos, but there's states in the country, guys, that are this. If it's ever snowed in those areas, it would kill every deer. And the reason for that is, guys, is there's no structure, right? There's no wind, there's no thermal protection, there's no structure, there's no browse isn't being met, right? You're promoting grasses, but if it ever snows and all that stuff gets covered up and all that grass starts dying, you don't have the power that you need. Like I said, browse and structured separate video. But the reason I'm touching on that is if you're in an area, if you want to try to beat that and not experience the lull, you don't want to be a part of it, so you're not doing those things and you're still experiencing that. How do you beat it? I can answer that with one short question. Make your property denser and put some horizontal structure in there where the deer feel more safe. That's the only way you're going to beat it, guys. And obviously, keep it unpressured. So there's a lot of other videos that are going to tie to this coming, but guys, I want you to really step back. And it's nothing, and like this video, every time I do this, I get into this, I feel like I'm ranting or being sarcastic, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to help folks understand the favorite stand syndrome, hunting over food plots. We got a video coming on that. Hunting over food plots, hunting over corn piles, moving your corn piles to the woods. Outfitters, I've touched on that before. Outfitters, I'm going to touch on that again. I don't know if I said that, but outfitters, Kentucky, Ohio, moving corn piles into the timber. A huge no-no. Right? And there's multiple things that tie to that. But so if you don't want to be a part of this next year, guys, acknowledge the problem now, fix the problem this coming habitat season, fix the problem with your hunting efforts, strategies going into next year. You got, and you don't have to do it until next year, right? Do it now, and you can salvage the rest of the season. But we'll end where we started. The October lull, guys, is a myth. You have to put that cause and effect together. You have to understand that there is a lull, but it's not caused by what you've been told for years and years and years. Thanks, guys.